Justin Chamness, everyone out there, welcome. This is realestatewholesalersclub.com, and this is the Saturday edition of the hashtag Shut Up Money Show. All right, where we help you. That's what our endeavor is, at least, to help you get to that next deal or that first deal. That's that shut up money. I didn't invent that word. I just stole it and put it to good use because that's really a great definition of what it is. It tells your doubts and your fears and all those things that say you can't do it in the back of your head. It says to all of those things, shut up, this works. Here at Real Estate Wholesalers Club, we talk a lot about being a full spectrum wholesaler, meaning, and what I mean, that's a word I guess I coined that, but what I mean by it is being able to do an ugly house deal using the 70% rule or something like that. And then you have the ability to do a pretty house deal too, meaning you're not leaving that money on the table. I got tired of calling leads and being like, oh, that doesn't fit the bill. Click. Oop, that doesn't fit either. Click. Oop, no, he's motivated. Numbers don't work. Click. Okay, so there's a way to solve that problem. I'm so excited today because Michael Batista sent a message to John Jackson and asked him if he would be a guest here today. And he said yes. So we have a wonderful guest, an expert in this pretty house business. And I want him to tell us all about it and share with us a little bit about himself. I'm so excited, guys. I hope you could tell, but sorry, let me stop yammering here. Welcome, everybody. John Jackson and Michael Batista. What's up, guys?
Hey, man, how you doing today? John, thanks a lot for being here, buddy. Really do appreciate you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for inviting me. And man, Justin's so excited his hair's standing on end. This is great.
I can't get it to lay down today. I don't know why.
Man.
That's great, man. That's great.
Yeah, and Justin, John, I'm surprised you and I have never really collaborated or connected before, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been around a long time, and obviously you look so young. You haven't been, you're a newbie, obviously. You look how young and vibrant you look.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised too, man. But that doesn't mean I don't know of you, and because we haven't met, I've read loads of Bigger Pockets, in the forum where people comment and chat and talk and all that stuff. I've seen them talk about John Jackson. I've seen you, we're in groups together and I see you commenting and posting, and sometimes I do too and all that, but we've never connected till today, man. It's awesome to meet you, sir.
Yeah.
You're kind of famous, right?
Well, in my own head, in my own little world, I am. And really the only reason that I'm even known, I think, is just because I've been around for so long. At some point you're around for so long, people finally just start talking about you, I guess.
How long have you been around? How long have you been doing this
So
business? 2003.
So I started in 2003. I started actually with Michael Carbonari, who, believe it or not, is still alive. And he's not even on life support, but he is still alive with Naked Investor. So I actually started on Naked Investor back in 2002, 2003. And
that's Cody Sperber, is that right?
No, Michael Carbonari.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if you go to naked-investor.com, and I always say, always joke about how I started on Naked Investor, and it's a real estate site, but people, don't ask what I was searching for when that popped up. Okay, it just that's how my real estate started. But yeah, so Naked Investor, Michael Carbonari is out of Florida. That site was a website and a forum devoted specifically, really, to lease options. And the forum is in archives now. You can still go there and see it. A lot of amazing posts. And you can actually go back if you're just this bored and go back to the post from 2003, and you can follow my path, if you will, of how I would ask the most basic questions as well, just like we all did when we started, right? Mm-hmm. And that now we've done for so long, we're like, oh, that's so easy, that's so basic. But you know what? When you start at ground zero, you have those initial questions. You can go back to Naked Investor and see where I was asking, like, well, how does this rent credit work, or whatever, Right. So that's where I started, and then just kind of took off from there. And then '05, end of '05 and '06 became kind of known as the Texas guy because of Texas laws, and have been going ever since.
So you were doing deals for a solid 2 years or so when you first started, with Michael. And how did you get that first deal? What did that look like for you?
So I actually started with Naked Investor, and he's got it. I've got it here. I got to show you this. Look at this. I still have the $97 manual I bought. Look how, I don't know if you can see this. Look, it was professionally. Look at that.
Yeah,
I love it.
He had I didn't know what 5-year-old did the artwork on it,
Sure.
But this is what got me started, and it's fascinating to think about this, guys. This is what I started with. Now, this doesn't make me a genius, but this is what I started with. The absolute very, very basics of a lease option.
Yeah.
Yet now people starting off look what they have access to.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I look at just what I have with my training, and it's talk about a business in a box, I mean, it's just crazy. But yeah, that's what I started with, was just the absolute basics. And what I did was I was working for Radio Shack in the evening at their repair facility. I was not selling batteries and whatever. Yeah,
That's great.
Selling batteries and remote control cars. But what I was doing is I fixed camcorders, and so I would work in the evening. They gave me a key to the building because they wanted me to work so badly. So I would go in at night, but nobody else was there because I hated everybody else. But what I started doing is during the day, I would day trade. And then before I went to work in the evening, I would go to buyowner.com and print off all these ads that were for sale by owner. I'd then go to Radio Shack, because this is back when you still had long distance, right? You still had to dial a 1,
right.
And I would go through it, for 2 hours at night. And I had a stack of buy owners, and I would just call them, and go, hey, whatever I said, you at least purchasing your home or whatever I said, and I would do that for 2 hours a night. And, of course, they'd all, this is back when families would eat dinner together, So at 7 o'clock at night, they're cussing me out, because they want to sit down and have a wholesome family dinner. But then when the phone rings, they turn into Satan. Why are you calling me?
Right.
Your mother never loved you. You're evil. I'll hunt you down.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you. I'll track you down. And then they'd hang up on me. But then the scariest thing would happen, right? What's the scariest thing for a seller to say to a newbie? Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would literally go, they go, what? Yeah, maybe that might work. How does the lease purchase work? Right. I would literally go, I don't know. Click.
But you had to take that swing to get to that point,
Yeah. I had to take those no's, and I had to take the yeses. It scares the hell out of you when a seller says yes, because guess what? Now you got to execute, right?
Right.
It's easy that people go, no, okay, nope, okay, right. Well, I tried. But when that seller says yes, like, oh,
right. What do I do now?
Lead us up to that point, John. Like, how did you go from working in Radio Shack to, okay, now I'm going to start calling these people? Did you order this book, and then you studied the training, and then did you talk to someone from Michael's team, Michael himself? I mean,
I don't know.
What did that look like?
So I ordered the manual.
Okay.
I was on the forum and, asking the newbie questions. You're always asking what if, sure. Right? Because you're trying to get the entire roadmap totally figured out, right? Like if you're going on a road trip, imagine trying to figure out, okay, no, wait a minute. Are there any rest stops? Ooh, I didn't think about that. And you won't make that first move until you know exactly where that gas station is and that this and that, which is stupid because that's not how a road trip works. But in our minds with business and real estate, that's how we map out the roadmap, what if there's traffic there? Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, we better not go,
Mm-hmm.
So I was mapping out to an extent a little bit, well, what if the seller, does this? Well, wait a minute, how does that number work again? How does the rent credit work again? And trying to get that all really figured out. And so then on the forum, asking questions. And then I basically, there was no Craigslist back then. So I had to just come up with a way to market to sellers. So I just thought, well, for sell by owner, I guess, because back then,
Yeah.
the way you would market to sellers is you would actually look in newspapers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
People selling,
Yeah.
selling, selling the, selling their houses. And for you, Justin, it'd be like, the green sheet, right next to the man seeking animal, section. You go to the
Yeah.
classified section, people selling their houses.
Yeah.
That was a joke. That was a joke, Justin.
No. I thought you were being serious because that's kind of how it was.
Yeah, it was like man seeking
Yeah.
farm animal. Oh, I want to sell my house.
Yeah.
Right,
And it
right.
was like wedged in between used cars and something else. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. And so you had to call them. That's the only way you could market. But they had a site that's buyowner.com. BuyOwner, do y'all remember? They even had TV ads. Buyowner.com. That saved us 6%. And that, so it was kind of big back then. So I printed off these ads and I thought, well, I guess I'll just call them. Right. And that's how I just started calling them. But that's not how I got my first house. The way I got my first house was I left my house to go to drive to the store or something. And I started going down roads I hadn't, just little roads, off roads I hadn't been down before. And boom, there's a house for sale by owner.
Yeah.
And I could tell it was vacant, nobody lived there. And so I called the homeowner and said, hey, I see your house for sale. Would you consider, at least purchase or whatever I said? He said, sure. Because the owner lived out of state, it turned out. And he had a friend here helping him. So his friend met me at the house. I saw it. And I guess I sent the contracts I had, sent them to him. I had no idea what I was doing, But of course, then as soon as the owner says yes, of course, I'm on bigger pockets going, bigger pockets. I'm so sorry. Naked investor saying, oh, how does this work, Michael? And blah, blah, blah. And Michael just said, oh, yeah, here's, you put the numbers together, whatever's in the contracts.
Yeah.
And I probably messed it all up. I don't know. But what I had done is I had so much faith in myself that I was going to do this, that I had already I'd already invested $68 in an aluminum yard sign.
Okay.
And so it was red. I still remember it was red. It had, lease purchase on it, my phone number. And what's funny, get this, guys.
One sign.
There's
one sign. $65.
One sign. And the reason it's so expensive is because I only bought one sign and it was aluminum, right? Because I wanted to look cool.
Yeah,
Like
you went all in. Yeah.
I went all in with 68.
Yeah.
And I was all in 68, baby.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is on the sign, I still have it, I think, in storage. I need to pull it out. So where I live, there was a home builder that also would owner finance houses, which I didn't know what that meant. At the time I didn't know what it was, but their signs, their smart buy houses or whatever, their signs actually had the Visa and the MasterCard logo at the bottom because they were doing owner finance. They didn't care if someone put something on a credit card. So I thought, oh, that's pretty helpful for people. So on my sign, my lease says lease purchase, my name and number, and at the bottom I had the Visa and MasterCard logo.
Wow.
It was just crazy because you can't even do that with financing. And secondly, I had no way to actually accept a credit card.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then there wasn't anything really you could do. I don't know.
There wasn't PayPal. There wasn't. I didn't know what I was doing. So if someone came to me with a credit card, I honestly have no idea what I would have done.
Oh shit! What do we do?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I put.
You could have got you one of those rack things where you put the carbon copies in there. You remember those?
Yeah. Then. So then I put the sign in the yard, and then within 3 weeks, because of the location of this house, within 3 weeks, I had shown it. I had shown it 2 or 3 times, and this couple, this husband and wife, loved it, and it was $3,500 assignment fee. It was $3,500 down, and they gave me $3,500. They loved it.
Awesome.
I took a picture of them in front of the house, and I was, it was amazing. $3,500 in 3 weeks in 2003. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They paid me, which boys and girls listening at home, for your option fee, never take cash. Okay, you can't source it. But so I took 3,500 in cash. That's what they gave me. I took it home, and I've got $100 bills laid all out over the kitchen. All right, which I'd never seen that much cash in my life, and I thought I was a baller, right?
Yeah.
I felt like I was a drug, like a drug daddy or something.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife at the time, I had asked her to strip for me because I was a baller, and I was going to have her strip for me for $100 bills. And but anyway, I'm divorced now. I don't know what happened there, but here's something that's interesting. Is that I was so excited. That excitement went away by that evening, and it turned into guilt.
What?
Yeah. And the reason was it was so easy to do what I just did.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what the hell I just did.
Yeah.
And I thought about how long did it take them to come up to make that money.
Yeah.
And I made it in 3 weeks like that by literally putting an ugly sign in the yard that I didn't know what I was doing. And I still remember literally laying in bed and praying, saying, God, if this isn't right, let me know.
Yeah.
Because I honestly thought, oh my God, what the hell have I just done? Because it was so easy. And
so the shut up money caused an existential dilemma.
Yeah.
Your life is at a crossroads now all of a sudden.
Yeah, because it was so easy. That shut up money turned into, oh crap money. Is this legit?
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't think you hear that very much in real estate. When people get their first money, you always hear them go, yeah, I'm a baller or whatever. Right. And but for me, that lasted for just a little bit. But that evening, I saw them going, what have I done? And but then after a week or so, I got another house under contract. And by this time, that feeling had started to go away a little bit. The other house I got, driving for dollars. It was literally like 6 or 8 blocks away from the first one. And I was driving up the road, and again, I thought, oh, I didn't know there was a term, driving for dollars. I'm just, driving around listening to scorpions and wasps and stuff, and for you young kids, go ahead and Google them and turn it up when your parents aren't in the room. But I was driving around listening to, wasp or whatever. And there's this house, it's a for sale sign by Home Investors of America, HVA.
Yeah.
And so I called them up, and I said, hey, this house on Parkwood, would you be interested in doing a lease purchase? And the guy that answered is still a friend of mine to this day. He said, yeah, we'd do that. I said, okay. I said, well, what's your email address? And I'll get you some numbers. So I send them, whatever. Then he's put the contract together. What I did for Home Investors, and this is good for anybody that's starting off and trying to get the traction going. What I did for Home Investors is, that option fee on a lease option assignment, that option fee is our money, right? That's our assignment fee. And what I was doing was, the first house, I kept it all. On the second house for Home Investor, I think it was like $8,000. I think it was a long time ago, but whatever it was, they said, hey, they wanted to do the lease purchase, and I put the numbers together and I said, yeah, well, hey, we'll do that. We'll do that all day long. This guy's kind of country. He said, I tell you what, though, he said, how about, because we got more houses. How about we split that fee? You get paid when they finance. I was like, okay. Yeah. So what I did for them was I split the option fee with them, or whatever it was, 8,000 or whatever it was. And then within just literally 4 weeks, I had another buyer, had a family for it. I split the fee with Home Investors, and guess what? They sent me another house and another one, and literally within what's that?
You JV'd their deal.
Yeah, I JV'd their deal.
Wow.
Yes.
Awesome. And then what I did is, then they started sending me like whatever, literally, I don't know, a couple of deals a week.
Yeah.
And then because they're franchises or franchisees, there's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's at the time, I don't know how many franchises, right? There's a lot of Home Investor franchises.
Oh yeah.
And they started telling, they talk. They started telling their other buddy, hey Jay, you got to hook up with this guy. Hey, so-and-so, you got, so now suddenly I'm doing whatever homes for, I don't know, 5 Home Investor franchises. They're going in, buying them, rehabbing them, and literally sending me an email. Hey, here's the 5 houses we have coming up. Boom.
Yeah.
And so I'm splitting the money with them, but I get paid when my buyers get financed, right? So I mean, I'm all over the map. I'm going crazy here. And what really But then what really launched me was in that interim before I started doing all these houses for home investors. I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way to get more houses quicker, right? And so I thought, who wants to sell their house? Who out there really wants to sell their house? And it finally clicked. And I was like, oh my God, I know who wants to sell their house. People that are trying to sell their houses. So, yeah, oh my God, boing, light bulb. And so what I did is I went to Realtor at the time. The only thing that was around was Realtor.com. I went to, this is, guys, this is old school for everyone listening. I went to Realtor.com. And I don't remember, I guess I would just like type in Fort Worth or so. I don't know what I would type in. And I would print off all these pages and pages of the houses that were for sale.
Yeah. Sure.
Then, and I wrote some letter, whatever the hell the letter said, I don't know. But I wrote some letter, made copies of it, and I think I hand signed each one. But then I had to go to the tax records, cross-reference all whatever, 800 or 1,000 houses, whatever it was, to their mailing address.
Yeah.
And I'm doing all this by hand. And then I get the envelopes and I'm handwriting their addresses of, for 1,000 homeowners on these envelopes. And I got really big time when I went to Staples and got a stamp for my return address, right? And then I was a real baller because I could, but I was hand stamping each one of these. And I was, my living room looked like some big mail house or something. And I started sending mail to listed houses, and literally, and it took forever to do that. It
does take forever to do that stuff by yourself.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like you wouldn't believe the folding and the stuffing, and then the writing of the. Oh my gosh, it's like, man, I'm never gonna get done with this stack of 100.
No, exactly, and literally licking the stamp, put it on there,
I gained like 10 pounds.
I literally look like that lady in that Seinfeld episode where she's licking the wedding invitations and she dies, That was neat. But the phone started ringing, and now I'm getting the phone to ring a lot, or a fair amount.
Yeah.
And I'm locking these deals up, with lease options. And now, oh my God, I've got to go spend I literally had to go spend another $68 on a sign. Now I got two houses at the same time. Like, I think I got an enterprise going here.
That's great.
And then I got a third house. I literally had to go get another sign made. And the sign maker, I still remember Pam, her name. She said, hey, John, this is Pam from the sign place. You could save money if you ordered like 10 at a time. And I'm like, or whatever it was, And I said, well, what's that discount? And it was whatever it was, like down to $25 or something.
Wow.
And or maybe it's if I ordered 20 at a time. But whatever the number was, I remember it was a massive investment for me to order. How many signs I ordered? 10 at a time or whatever it was. And because it was hundreds of dollars. That's a massive investment for me. But I needed them. Anyway, so I'm ordering all these signs. Now my garage is filling up with these heavy aluminum signs, and I'm getting houses from the MLS and home investors. And next thing you know, and so literally within 90 days, I did no more Radio Shack, no more day trading. I was just doing real estate full time.
That's great.
And so you said you were doing day trading. What is that, like stocks?
Stocks and options, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So I started trading stocks and options in 2000.
Okay.
So right as everything was as the tech bubble was crashing, that's when I was getting in. That's so kind of like people that get into real estate in 2008.
It seems like that's the right time to get in when everything's down,
Well, when you don't know when you don't understand markets and you're learning in a down market, it's a bloodbath.
Oh,
But I definitely made the most money in day trading by shorting for sure.
Gotcha.
And selling covered calls. Did a lot of that.
So let's get back to this JV with home investors. So you were connecting with home investors. These guys were all fix and flipping, and they had their properties on the market, and you were calling them, and then basically you would split their assignment fee or the option fee, and they were completely fine with it.
Yep.
And you said you got paid when the tenant buyer was put in the house, or how?
So I got paid twice on the deal.
Okay.
So when I found the buyer, I got paid half. So if it was 8,000 as a number,
Sure.
I got paid half. I got 4,000. When my buyer closed, in other words, got the financing, I got paid out of closing another 4,000.
Oh wow. Okay. So that
And one of the
that could be
franchise,
a year, 2 years, 3 years from now,
12 months.
when they cash the loan out, they cash the
Yeah.
deal.
I did
Okay.
12 month. I still do 12-month contracts.
Sure.
And one of the franchises actually gave me $1,000 bonus for getting them financed
Okay.
on
Wow.
top of my fee.
So you were doing 12-month lease option assignment contracts.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. Stop the presses. Right? 12 months? People say, what? I can't do 12 months, can I? Tell us about that, John.
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
And John is actually, just so everybody knows, John has a really good program where he helps kind of take these people through that process to make sure it is successful for them. I'd love to have you kind of elaborate on that on this interview. This would be awesome.
Yeah. So the longer the term of a lease option, the likelihood of the tenant buyer financing goes down.
Okay.
Now the reason for that is because life happens and the sting of the option fee fades away with time.
Sure.
So let's assume they put 10,000 down. When I say down, guys, obviously you all know, but for everyone listening, down, option fee, assignment fee, I'm using them interchangeably.
Sure.
But just for ease of conversation, they put 10,000 down, okay? And then a year goes by, then 2 years go by. Well, now what could have happened in 2 or 3 years? Well, they could have got divorced, or maybe the kids went to college. Well, now they don't need such a big house, or maybe they didn't have kids when they moved in, and now now they got 3 kids suddenly, or whatever. I don't know how long the gestation period is of a tenant buyer, but maybe they have 3 or 4 kids, and now they need a bigger house. So in other words, life happens, right?
Right.
But in 12 months, not much happens, and you can rush into finance. Now, when I started off for the first, I don't know how many years, I would basically lease option any house anywhere, and as long as and I assumed all people were good.
Right.
So I assumed everybody's going to get fined. Yeah. That's out of everything. That is the big joke on this podcast, guys. I assumed everybody was good.
Yeah.
Till you learned otherwise, right?
I love that.
What's that?
Till you learned otherwise. What'd you say, Michael?
Otherwise, until the term eviction came up.
Oh.
But yes, I assumed everybody's going to do what I told them to do. And so over time, I had to start developing these systems and start working with. Then I brought there was a lady that there was actually a homeowner that got my trifold brochure, my little whatever it was I was sending at the time. I don't know what I was sending. I have no idea.
Hey, are we going to get a link to the copy, a preview of this brochure?
Sure, I can send you. I can send you a copy. I can put it up in Google Docs.
You can't tease us like that, man.
Hey boys, yeah. You like it?
I got people that would love to just look at that, just to look at it once.
Guys, obviously John is a wealth of knowledge, but he's also a character. So
how can we tell?
We've got Saturday morning cartoons going on right now.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
How can we tell?
I
love it.
I had a homeowner that got my whatever it was in the mail, my brochure or something, and they were so intrigued with what I was doing that she came on board and started working for me as a rep. And so then she became a loan officer. Then now she's doing our mortgages and our credit improvement. This all started from a seller that got my thing in the mail. And so anyway, so we actually had the credit improvement in place and the financing in place. We now use somebody else for the financing and all that. But the point is we've got the systems in place, so it's not just take the option fee and wish them good luck. So what happens now is they apply with us. We pull a tri-merge credit report. We're looking at debt to income. We're looking at not just the scores, but everything on there. How financeable are they, right? Because just because they have the option fee, okay, well that's great and all, but I got to get that tri-merge. I got to see what your debt to income is. I got to see how financeable are you. Can we get you done in a year? If I can't get them done in a year, then then they're not going to be a fit for what we do.
Sure.
So how did you learn to know what you're looking at? You know what I mean? So you pull their credit reports or have them do it, and then you look at it. But to me, not having ever done it before, it's like Greek, right? So
so I knew a little bit about credit because back in 2003, I'd already had to work on my own because my dad has the same name as me. So I'd already had to do a little bit of work with credit. So I understood a little bit about it. But when Rachel came on board and then started doing credit improvement for us, she built her entire company on credit improvement because of us, then became a loan officer. It was very, very, very fast OJT. And because I was so deep in the, because I was, Rachel and I worked side by side, and I'm learning about all the mortgage guidelines literally as they're changing, especially in 08 and 09, learning a lot about, being immersed with learning FHA, VA, USDA, all the different aspects of financing. So that's how I got so immersed, so, and actually because I think it's so important to at least understand it, that I actually teach it, whether it be in my boot camps or even in the lease option training, to understand a little bit about, the dynamics of debt to income and what that looks like and stuff. But because of that, as we developed the system, our success rate of people getting financed within 12 months is in the upper 90s,
That's
so
great.
it's really high.
Yeah, that's really good.
9 times out of 10.
I would say 9 times. It's really it's beyond 95%. I know that.
So are you sandwiching a lot of these or just assigning and walking away?
So we're simply assigning and walking away.
Okay.
Now, and I tell people when you're starting off, do not do a sandwich lease option if you've never done a lease option before, unless you've got reserves.
Right.
Yeah. Just like I don't, sub 2 is great. Sandwich lease options, great. Rehab, great. But you better have some reserves.
Sure.
You may very well have some wounds to lick.
Yeah.
But so I assign everything, and I'm in Texas, so we can't sandwich lease option anyway. We can only assign, or straight or assign.
Sure.
So John, can I jump in with a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So John, if you are able to sort through enough people to actually do that level of qualifying on a 12 months, I'm guessing that the market in which you're operating is vital too, because we do a lot of marketing in some of these small areas. It's hard to find one buyer that's going to come sign on the line. So I mean, engineering this backwards, I'm guessing it has to do with the areas that you market to or in, right?
A little bit. It does a little bit. Now I will say it is. Sometimes it's actually easier for us to get houses than it is buyers, especially when we get above 400,000.
Okay.
It gets more difficult to find the buyer. But having said that, on the lower price house, and I'm in the Fort Worth area, okay, so the average home here is about 275, okay, 250, 275, right in there.
Sure.
So we can get those. So on let's just call it 250,000. For the most part, with the advertising we do, and we still, signs in the yard, directional sign, we still get a decent number of applications, and we will actually turn down, I would say, 40 to 50% of our applications because of the fact that we're looking at them so stringently. Yeah, but yeah, so finding the buyers can be one of the challenges depending on the price range. I had a student that he just closed his first 2 deals within 4 days. One of them was it was a $8,500 option fee. That was $23,500, I think. Yeah.
Now, did he source the deal and sell it, or did he kind of do what you did to start and went and moved someone else's deal?
No, this was directly from the seller, so it wasn't So he found one of them from I think from Facebook Marketplace, or maybe it may have been you know what, Michael, it may have been this weird texting platform that you may have heard of before, Michael.
Right.
I think he may have got the deal from that.
What is it? The automatic RE? What is it called?
The automation REI or something.
I've heard people call it 100 different things, but I call it wonderful. It's great.
Yeah, but so I think he may have found that one through the automated REI. And
Yeah.
then which, by the way, here in about 25 minutes, I'm going to be showing some people the automated REI. I've got a jumpstart call to do.
Oh,
The other one he found, I believe, from direct mail, I believe. And then he found the buyers through, one was through Facebook Marketplace, I think. The other one's from Zillow.
And $23,500 in option fee.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Stop the presses. People have that kind of cash now. You know what I mean? Like, students and folks that watch get this mentality that because I don't have any money, nobody has any money. The whole world's broke. I watch TV. Everybody's hurting.
Yeah.
Baloney.
So this is a brand new student, right, John? You said this.
Yeah.
He was brand new in the program. Okay. In 4 days, he got the deal, got it sold.
No, I probably no. Within 4 days of each other is when he closed the first one on a Friday, the second one on a Monday.
Okay.
So to give people a realistic expectation of how this looks like,
Sure.
lease options typically lease options are far easier than wholesaling, in my opinion, because you don't have to worry about repairs or anything like that, and there's no competition essentially.
Right.
And you don't have to convince a seller to sell their house. They're already trying to sell their house in most cases. But what I found is that to close from the time that you start marketing for lease option to the time that you actually get that option fee, maybe a little bit longer than if you were just wholesaling a deal where you got the cash buyer there. So this Jose, my student, started in very end of November with me, very end of November. I showed him the automated REI, and all of our marketing techniques. And so he got both these properties in December, very end of December, and then closed them, it would have been a week ago, but yeah, so he closed them within about 4 or 5 weeks of getting them. So anyway, so to do the math, within 60 days, he closed 2 deals.
Okay.
What price range properties were they?
So the first one was 260-ish. The second one was 460, I think.
Wait a minute. Stop the
What?
presses. You mean when you start getting over 300, 400,000, you can still do these?
And the thing is that, so you typically don't find as many buyers in the higher end for wherever you live. But what you got to understand is more and more people are self-employed.
Sure.
Self-employed people are absolute, under your shoe dog crap to a mortgage lender. Like they're like, how do you even survive? How do you live? You're self-employed, you're garbage. Because if you don't have a little W-2, you're like, oh, I go to work every day, 9 to 5, like a robot. Lenders don't know how to, they're like, what do we do with this?
It pops off their body. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so this guy that got into this family that got into the $460,000 or $70,000 house, his scores are in the 700s. He's self-employed, has a very lucrative business, and he's paying $4,000 a month now for this house.
Wow.
But the point is he couldn't get financed because when you're self-employed, you show that you make as little as possible. Even if you're an S corp, right? LLC filing as an S corp, you're showing that you're getting your little paycheck of whatever it is, but you're taking your draws, your dividends. So anyway, the lender doesn't see that.
Care. Yeah. It makes
when you target the houses, how long on Zillow?
You mean for us to market to the sellers?
Yeah, is it 60 days?
Yeah,
30 days?
Over 60 DOM. So one of the things we do is, and this is here's a little hack. I don't know if Justin, do you have like a little siren to go off for real estate ninja hack?
Cowbell.
There you go. You can go to Redfin and download over 60 DOM houses, print off as a CSV. Scrape that, upload it to PropStream, export it, boom, there's your mail list.
That's awesome.
There you go, and all that was free, except for PropStream.
Say that again now.
I can only tell it one time.
That's what the cowbell, okay?
Yeah, you had your warning.
That's great.
So you go to Redfin, download over 60 DOM. It's a CSV. You scrape, you clean it up, upload it to PropStream, import, export. When it exports, what it's doing is it's cross-referencing to the mailing address.
Gotcha.
And now you got a massive CSV, and you clean that up, and then there's your mail list.
So do you mail to all of those, the three?
We'll do different things. We'll use Street View postcard. I've got some other postcards I've designed. We've got the trifold here. The trifold is going to be the more expensive. This is about 90 cents ish.
Yeah.
And that includes the mailing.
But we get to take a look at that.
Yes, behind closed doors. You and me, Justin. You're gonna spin that wheel, baby.
Yeah. Hey, this is coming up. Wheel of Objections.
I love it. I love it.
Wheel of Objections. What will it be today?
Oh, where did you get that, man?
Are you equipped to handle whatever pops up? Oh, it's going to be, do you have a website?
Yeah.
I got it from Amazon.
John, Redfin is going to be for sale by owner.
I got to bounce off here in about 18 minutes or so, 15 minutes. But this is great. We should do this like every day.
We do.
Oh, great.
We kind of do meet every day, buddy. Okay, awesome. So 60 plus days on market. You're mailing to them. Do you also skip trace and cold call them too, or do you just?
No, if you skip trace and cold call a listed house, you've now committed tortious interference.
Okay.
So don't do that.
Even if you're not an agent.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're an agent or not.
Okay.
Circumventing a contract is circumventing a contract.
Gotcha.
Tortious interference.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nicholas has a question for Texas lease options.
Yeah, we got questions in here. You guys, he's on limited time, so let's rapid fire questions from the group. Is that cool?
Hey, John, thanks for being here with us Saturday. I'm Nick, and I live in Austin. And I have a question in regards to lease options in terms of, so I know we can only do it for a year, but there's also that little kind of wording in there that it says like it's got to be done within a 6 months time frame, because if it.
Yeah, so in Texas, Nick, you're in Austin. You should come to my 3-day boot camp next week in Houston. What are you doing? Come on.
Where is it at next weekend? Is it a virtual thing or?
It's we're actually doing it live and virtual. We're doing it live, no mask, no nothing.
Oh wow!
Look at this mask. Look at this mask. This mask does nothing.
I like it.
I've also got one that says this mask is as useless as Joe Biden. I've also got one that says Islamic starter kit, but that's So yeah, it's in the Woodlands next week. Woodlands Marriott.
Okay. Man, yeah. Well, I'll where do I get more info? Sorry.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can give a link here. I can certainly do that. I don't want to cross the line.
I don't mind.
So what you can actually do is
welcome home today. Make yourself at home.
There's where you can go there, or if you want to learn about the actual boot camp, we're doing it live and virtual.
www.leaseoptionclasses.com if you're watching. www.leaseoptionclasses.com. Also, www.nextbootcamp.com.
John, I know you focus solely on lease option assignments. How, in your opinion, you've been doing this for 15, 16 years. How important is it to specialize to be able to scale? I mean, you do quite a few deals a month, and you've chosen to only do lease option assignments. I know a lot of guys, they'll be doing several different deals, and that's okay too. But if you're looking to just kind of push the pedal down and just go like you, just give us a little bit of advice on that.
Yeah, I tell you what. Let me, hey Nick. Nick, I didn't answer your question. So Michael, let me come back. Let me answer Nick real quickly, especially for you and anybody here from Texas. In Texas, you can do lease options up to 36 months. After 36 months, it's essentially a contract for deed, okay? That whole 6 month thing is simply this, Nick. If you do a lease option over 6 months, Then there are 5 or 6 statutes within Texas property code that you've got to abide by. That's it. So it's over 6. If it's over 6 months, but less than 36, you have to have specific verbiage in your contracts, disclose the mortgage information, that type of thing. So it's very easy to abide by. And so the buyer has to be able to make sure the payments are being made and that type of thing. Does that make sense? So we do 1 year. We do 1 year, not because of Texas. We were doing 1 year before Texas changed anything. We do 1 year because that's the owner wants to see light at the end of the tunnel, and we want to get these buyers financed as quickly as possible.
Right. Okay.
So that was yes, that's a 30-second spiel on Texas. And so Michael, going back to your question about so the riches is in the niches, and so you really want to dial in a niche and not try to learn multiple things. When you try to learn multiple things, you're going wide, not deep. And so, for example, we're right there in Austin, Texas, where you are. Nick Perry lives there, a good friend of mine. He is a monster at wholesaling nationally, right? Well, when he came to me many years ago before he started in the wholesaling and was trying to do lease options while wholesaling, he found his groove with wholesaling and boom, and crushed it. But to scale, you really want to be, the riches in the niches. Once you master, say in my case, lease options or whatever the case, wholesaling or whatever it is, then you can start to add on something as long as this machine is running, right? And so to scale, what you don't want to do is, as my friend Jerry Green says, you don't want to scale chaos.
Right.
If your business is chaos, you don't need to be scaling. You need to be better before bigger.
Oh yeah, way better.
So
scaling shows those efficiencies, like it multiplies them. Inefficiencies.
Absolutely, absolutely, it does. And those when you scale chaos, that chaos gets more and more expensive.
Yeah.
So you want to really master your niche, and that is the process. Even though the marketing, where do the leads come in? Is there follow-up, et cetera? One of the things that, for me, it's a matter of keeping it simple. So like I still to this day will use a legal pad for my CRM. Yeah. I'm not a techie guy. I tried to learn Podio and
right.
And I'm like, this is BS. What is it?
Yeah, and me too, man. I felt the same way.
People start off, or I'll be training somebody, trying to train somebody. And this is, before you really got the coaching business going, where I was just doing one-on-one, and I had someone, coming in for coaching, and I wouldn't hear from them for like a month. I'm like, hey, where have you been? They're like, oh man, John, just trying to get this whole Podio thing going. I'm like, what? Podio? Wow, you must have a lot of leads. How many do you have?
Right.
Oh boy.
Like 5.
Yeah, I don't have any leads yet.
Oh, none.
Oh my god.
What are you doing? Well, I don't know. Man, John, if I could just get these VAs going. Well, what are you gonna have the VAs do? I'm gonna get that marketing going. Well, what are you gonna have the VAs do? I'm gonna have a market.
Exactly.
And then they're gonna put the market in the Podio, I guess. I don't know. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to market, and you're gonna train somebody overseas,
Right.
15 hours behind you, how to market. Guys, you don't need a bunch of VAs starting off. I've just this is 18th year, and the only VAs I have are for posting ads, or that type of thing. I don't cold call sellers. Although in 10 minutes, I got a jumpstart call some people that just got my training materials. I do that a couple times a month, and I tell them, send me your leads. So they'll send me the leads just like this, and I'll cold call the seller. Besides that, for my own business, I don't actually cold call, right? I got things to do. I got podcasts to be on, I got to entertain.
Sure.
I don't have time to cold call.
Yeah.
But so the point is get your marketing down, whatever that is. For me, it's direct mail, but it's very, very small, specific direct mail that I do.
That's awesome. Victor's got a question. He's got his hand raised here, and there's some in the chat here too.
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes, so I guess I'll hit the questions here. I got one question here from Barbara. Barbara, I am off the market. I am in a serious relationship. Thank you for asking. 5'10", by the way, Barbara. Thank you. Scorpio, Barbara. Scorpio.
Like long walks on the beach.
Is there Damon says, is there a certain mortgage company you use to work with the tenant buyers? Yes. Do they also clean the credit? Yes. So we've got a company that does everything for us, and she works in all 50 states except New York. And it is Total, T-O-T-A-L, Total Lending. And she may.
Did you see everybody's head go down and their hands started?
Yeah. And we didn't do a cowbell. Sorry, guys. If you missed it, it is. You can. Let me see here. Let me give you an actual something better than that, because K-O-R, and here it is. You can email her. Her name is Corinne. This would be the easiest way. It's KORINNE @totallending.com. KORINNE @totallending.com. Now, guys, for everyone listening and watching, one of the things that's very important when it comes to finance is your freaking documents. If your documents suck and don't spell everything out, then it's going to screw up the lending. Because when the lender sees it and it was some one-page thing that you got for free off Bigger Pockets, they're going to go, "What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Who's paying what? Who's paying closing costs? Who's doing this? Who's doing what?" And you go, "I don't know, but I got it off a forum."
Yeah, right.
A guy on Bigger Pockets told me to do it.
Try to make it.
I didn't really read it or anything either.
Yeah.
So you don't handle that. So John, you're purely in acquisition.
Essentially, yeah, acquisition, disposition, yeah.
And then do you also do the dispositions? I know you have a guy that works with
So
you.
what happens? I've set up myself with years ago. I had reps. Okay, so I was doing all these houses, but I needed to expand, and I was doing so many that there's no way I could do all of Dallas Fort Worth.
Sure.
So I brought on reps, if you will, if you could imagine, like a broker and then the agents underneath the umbrella. So I would have a rep in one area in Dallas, one over here, one over there, one over there. And what would happen is I would do the mailings, the direct mail. The sellers would call me. I would do my 3 email campaign where I send them the seller price sheet, the contracts, all that, and lock it up. And then I'd hand that off to the rep and say, "Hey, Bob, here," and I copy the seller. "Hey, Bob, I copied Sam, the seller. Here's the contracts. He's ready to go." And then Bob, my rep, would call Sam, the seller. "Hey, I can be out there Thursday at 5 to get pictures and get the contracts, all that." So now that's it. Now I have no more communication. Now it's between Bob, my rep, and Sam, the seller. Bob puts a sign in the yard. Bob puts the ads out there. Bob takes all the buyer calls. The applications come in. I process them. Boom. I tell Bob, "Yep, they're good to go." Bob meets the buyer, signs the contracts, get the cashier's checks, and brings me the cashier's checks.
Gotcha.
So,
and you don't do any of this with an attorney's office?
No, I use a burn phone.
You get those from Walmart, right?
Yeah. It's just
toss it after the call, right?
It's called replacing the SIM card, Michael. Replacing the SIM card. Ring that bell, baby.
Yeah. In terms of disposition, and I know a lot of people have asked me, so it's curious about what happens with the initial down payment, your fee. I know we raised the price to cover that, over and above what we promised to our seller, right? And
yeah, so what I do, and I'll try to do this in 4 minutes here. Okay. I set the numbers very, very, very specifically, and the way I set them is probably different than the way other people teach it. Okay, I know it's different than some people teach it. What we do is we'll raise that price, and I'm using averages here, proximities. Okay, we'll raise that price about 2 to 2.5% above what they're asking for. Okay, because we're talking about a 12-month contract. It's got to appraise, right? So if we're getting 4% down, and I'm using round numbers here, but very, very close. If I raise it by 2.5%, and I'm getting 4% down, right? I've just eaten into 1.5% of the owner's equity, right?
Right.
Right.
But if I'm giving them $1,000 or whatever of that option fee, which I typically do, give them $1,000. So I've only eaten into maybe 1%, give or take, of their equity, right? But they're getting cash flow each month. Now, what happens? Hold on, stop. Every time I get on Zoom, the dog goes nuts. What happens to that fee is because our contracts state that option consideration shall be applied towards funds to purchase or funds to close. The lender and the buyer get together and say, okay, yeah, here's the 10, whatever it is. Here's the 10,000 you put down. Here's a copy of the cashier's check. Here's where you can source it. Here's the bank statement. Here's the contract that states where that money is going to go to. And the lender just applies that towards their lender required down payment.
Perfect.
Unless they go VA, then they may apply it towards their additional closing cost.
Okay.
I should have rang the cowbell again.
And that's basically how we do it. I don't do it a percentage. I just normally work with a $10,000 number in my head, and I try to negotiate it so that at market level, it includes my $10,000. So if it's a $200,000 house in a $200,000 market, I'm trying to negotiate a 190 price, and or even 185 because I add some things to the end contract, such as making the new buyer pay for a home warranty. And
so what you can do is ring the cowbell.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you don't have to negotiate. I never negotiate.
Okay.
I never negotiate because here's the thing: the homeowner wants enchiladas, right? They want rice, beans, beef enchilada, chicken enchilada. And when that's not happening after 60 days, I come along and go, hey, I know you want enchiladas. That's great. I got fajitas. I mean, they see there's no enchiladas coming. They go, hey, how about those fajitas, right?
Right.
Boom, baby, sign in the yard. They mark at the same time for sale by owner, whatever. I got my sign in the yard right next to theirs. On the numbers, I don't negotiate. They want 200,000. I go and go, yep, that's worth about 220. You know, they're right. In other words, they're pretty close to what they're asking the right number. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I go, okay, well, I'm going to raise it by about 2.5%. Okay. Because again, so now it's got a year to appreciate by 2.5%. Okay. So I'm raising it a little bit. I'm not negotiating get them down. I'm just saying, yeah, it's 2059 as a number. Okay. 2059. Here's how much we're going to get paid. We're going to give you 1,000 of that. You're going to get X amount per month and a 3,600 concession because there's no rent. I don't do a rent credit. And there you go. For the buyer to pay the home warranty, which I use Old Republic Home Protection, orhp.com. They are the best in the business, but you got to get an account with them.
Yeah.
ORHP, the buyer pays that $650. That has nothing to do with my option fee. You can include it. You can raise your option fee and pay for it, with $650. There you go. Yeah. I have 60 seconds.
Thanks, John.
You bet. Final questions.
All right, guys.
John, thank you. You've been awesome, man. It's been great. I've had a blast today. Thank you for joining us, man. We'll have you come back soon because I feel like there's a whole lot left to be done here and said, and probably questions and everything too. So we'll have you back. Is that cool? You come back?
Definitely. I'll definitely come back. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of stuff I know, and if there's something I don't know, I'll make it up. So who gives a crap?
Yeah. Where can we get that letter at?
I tell you what, I will put it into Google Doc, and I'll Michael remind me and email me.
Okay.
To do that. I'll put
there
it
you go.
Hey, is there a discount code for the boot camp? Virtual? I can't get down there.
No, it's $197. I tell you what, actually, if you type in the coupon, if you type in the coupon code, John is sexy.
Okay.
It'll discount to $197. How's that?
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. You're a go-giver.
And by the way, guys, when I say virtual,
how to get the link?
When I say virtual, this isn't some dude just holding a camera on Zoom. I'm bringing a full production team in. This is a rock show.
Okay, guys, it's www.leaseoptionclasses.com, leaseoptionclasses.com, or www.nextbootcamp.com. Next Boot Camp, like the one after this one, Next Boot Camp. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks, John, for being here.
Hey,
I want to,
John, appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll have you back soon, man. Thank you, Crystal and Michael Batista. Thanks for the hookup today, Michael Batista. You're great, man. We love you. and Jerry and Larry and Victor and Ace and Addie and Anthony and Kimberly and Damon and Ed and Marvin and Greg and LaShonda and Nicholas and Philip and Rick and Sandra and Vernon. And we have like 25 people watching on YouTube too. This has been a huge event today. Thank you so much for participating, everyone that's out there. We love you. Thank you. We do this every Saturday. So next week, during the week, the VIP Wheel of Objections. Can you handle the heat? Can you handle the heat?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Love you guys. John,
Hey, guys,
thank you, dude.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Justin. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Love you
Bye.
guys. Stay healthy. Stay safe.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.